Yo, what is up, DCS crew? It is Carlos back at it today with a little bit of you and I time. That's right. This is an unboxing and impressions video on the Benchmade 3400 Autocrat. Now, big ups to the Apex Pass Around for sending this my way, and especially big ups to my boy Zach from Zach Stuff. Go ahead and give him a follow if you aren't already. And if you're part of Zach Stuff's page, and you're one of Zach's friends, you're a friend of mine, so feel free to go ahead and sub to my channel too. But in the meantime, let me go ahead and unbox this guy, pop the top after the intro, and we can go ahead and get started. Welcome back, guys. So I decided to try something a little different as usual on the channel, and this is going to be the first official gloves on video. So now these are my mechanics gloves. These are the thin blue line edition. I picked up two of these for I think just under 30 bucks shipped off of botash.com, B-O-T-A-C-H. Really nice, great shooter's gloves. You know, it's a little something to keep myself tactical. So yeah, and just nice tough gloves. It's nice to have these kind of things when you're doing reviews like this that are really meant to be more of the everyday / tactical setup. So let's go ahead and open this up and see what this is all about. Okay, so going through this, you get your standard Benchmade pack. Here's your box with your information. This is the way that all of the Benchmade knives typically come. This is part of their black series. This is the 3400 Autocrat, and very nice, pretty fitting that I actually put on my black and blue gloves, because this is black and blue G10. Now, unlike most automatics or even OTFs, this one is actually in G10, which is pretty cool, and it actually makes it reduce the weight in you know, quite a bit, considering that it's a pretty big knife. Let's see how it works with the gloves on. Ooh, okay. All right, now here we have pretty much a dagger blade style. It is bead blasted, and it has the Benchmade insignia on one side and the steel designation, which in this particular case is S30v. That is usually the go-to steel with Benchmade. The go-to used to be 440C many moons ago, and then it became 154 cm, and then it graduated into S30v. So that's actually pretty cool. So now, this is an OTF, meaning out the front. It is an automatic. It does come with a Benchmade deep carry clip, and this is the nitrided clip. Now, to kind of explain it a little bit, nitride as opposed to black. When you have a black clip, it tends to be more glossy. It's painted, and then what happens is, as it chips and as it, you know, you start to use and you get a little bit of love, the paint chips off of the painted clips. In this particular case, you can bump it, you can scratch it, like this one unfortunately has. And as you can see, I unboxed it. I did not use this one in that aspect to where I scratched it. But when it does get a scuff, it's just a nice little scuff. And this is actually going to weather out over time. It's going to be really cool. And by the way, really interesting point that I wanted to go ahead and tell you about. You see the butterfly on the deep carry clip? You can actually color fill that. I've done that on one of my other knives, and it actually looks pretty cool and makes it pop really nice. Now, okay, so deep carry clip, it is tapped for left and right hand tip down. Deep carry, and the reason why I say tip down is because you can't exactly have tip up with this. It is an OTF. It's not an out the side like a lot of you know, the Benchmade knives like the Casbah and even the ProTech knives do. This is an OTF. Okay, so the really cool thing about this is, because of the fact that it's an OTF and it's tapped for left and right hand carry, it is fully ambidextrous. So whether you're a lefty and you want to go ahead and use the knife, you can actually go ahead and place the clip on one side, or you can place it on the other side if you're a righty, and you can go ahead and use it with no problem. Now, let's talk about the overall length of this blade. Go ahead and place it right here so you can see it a little bit better. Okay, place this to the side. So it's got a nice little Benchmade designation. And so yeah, the Benchmade Autocrat, it is overall just under 9 inches. I think it's about 8 3/4. You have a blade length of about 3.7, maybe a little bit bigger. The cutting edge is pretty much, it's actually 3.7 times 2, so that would be 7.4 because you get a dagger style. So both sides are actually sharpened for a maximum lethality. I mean, you're getting the most out of your blade here. It does have that dagger look, which is nice because they did designate this as a dagger blade. So it's a double action OTF automatic. Now, double action means is that you do one action to open it and another to close, just as an FYI. Okay, now the blade grind is a flat grind. You have the bead blast finish, and then you have the gray, the black G10 with blue studs, or in this particular case screws, and the firing mechanism right here is I want to say that is aluminum, and it is blue as well. So the handle width is about 1 1/4 inches. This is about 0.6 in thickness, and the blade is extremely thin. It's 0.10, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, very, very nice and slicey. This is something definitely to be able to use for a tactical scenario. It rides very deep in the pocket with this black deep carry clip. It's very unassuming, and this is actually Benchmade's first OTF offering that actually features a milled composite G10 handle. And I say that because most of the handles that you're going to find on an OTF, especially whether it's the Marfione Customs, the Microtechs, the other Benchmades that are OTFs like the Phaeton, that sort of thing. Even some other companies like Guardian Tactical, they have a lot of titanium or even aluminum handles. You don't see very many in G10, and this is actually Benchmade's first G10 handled OTF. Ooh, wait. There we go. Okay, which is actually pretty cool. So in this particular version, they have a satin blade, which is the satin bead blasted blade, which is this one, or they have the 3400 BK, which is a black blade and a black G10. So just to consider that. Now the handle itself is 5. That's right, 5 inches in length, and yeah, I want to say that the weight on this guy, the last time I had checked, it tipped in at just under 4 ounces, which is actually pretty nice considering, how this feels in the hand. It feels nice and sturdy. As you can see, even with my gloves, I have 4 full fingers, and there's just a little bit that sticks out here. You can go ahead and use this, manipulate it with gloves, without gloves, no problem. These, just as a point of reference, for my mechanics gloves, I am a size large, and this is that's for the both the original and the thin blue line version that you see here. So I mean, there's a lot of really good pros to this. I love the G10 handle. I like the left and right hand carry, and the operations of the actual knife. It is very easy to use. Sometimes it'll be a little bit hard for me to go ahead and engage and never to disengage because of the fact that I'm just not used to carrying an OTF. Now, since I've been carrying it though, there are a few things that I wanted to go ahead and tell you about. And one of them is the fact that OTFs, and I didn't realize this until, how prominent this was until I actually had one in my hand. OTFs like this, they tend to have a little bit of side-to-side play, and that's because of the fact that with the mechanism and how easy it is to be able to manipulate in and out, the tolerances, especially for a production model OTF, have a little bit of slop to it. Okay, and when I say a little bit of slop, that doesn't mean with the actual opening and closing, because the opening and closing of this knife is extremely good. I like that. I think it's awesome, and I am a fan. I'm a fan of that. Now, what I'm not a fan of is when you have a knife and it feels like, I mean, you can hear it. Listen. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. That's that's enough wiggle that just makes me feel really weird about the knife. I mean, and being that it's a thin blade stock, it makes me kind of feel like the blade itself is a little, almost cheap. And considering you're paying, I mean, pretty much 4 Benjamins and 4¼ Benjamins at $425, guys, you'd want to have something that doesn't exactly give you that uneasy feeling, Now again, I'm not brand new to OTFs, but I don't currently own an OTF at the moment. I have used a bunch of different, OTFs before. Dylan Mallory has actually showed me some of his Microtech because he's a huge Microtech guy. I have seen some of Anthony Marfione's stuff. I've been at the Benchmade booth before, and even at shows where they have some of the Benchmade autos. I haven't out the side with the Cosmo, but I have seen the OTFs, and I really like, as an example, the Phaeton, Phaeton, I believe is the way it's spelled, and it doesn't have that kind of slop that this does. And when you're used to a pocket knife and you're able to go ahead and manipulate the pivot a little bit and kind of give it that that nice little tight screw so that it has that nice action without feeling like it's that got that side to side play. I mean, at the end of the day, I can make this snap just as hard, if not harder, than an OTF. Now, it's not as easy. I mean, with this, you just go ahead and you use the action once to deploy it, and one more time to close it. And it's really cool, uber tactical, high speed, low drag, and I am a fan of that. Okay. Now, the only other thing that I could say about this particular blade that I don't like is the fact that, and it's not really about the blade itself, it's about the people that have access to this. Not everybody is going to have access to, number one, a blade of this size, because this is actually a pretty large OTF for everyday use. And with a 3.7-inch blade, a lot of places have limitations on blade size, and even with that, there's even more, there's even further, there are places that don't allow you to carry an automatic knife. So that limits the audience quite a bit. Now, you take those and then you add a $425 price tag to this, and it creates a little bit of an issue. I guess you could say it's an issue, or you can call it a niche market. Now, granted, the market for these knives and what they are marketed specifically for are the OTF guys that want something different from your average Marfione, your Microtech, your Guardian Tactical, that sort of thing. And this, it does check a lot of boxes. I really like the fact that it has these ridges down here with the G10. It does have the deep carry clip that you can swap from both sides. You can always get a replacement clip either in satin or in black from Benchmade. They have excellent customer service. Their warranty service is great. You can send their knives in for their Life Sharp program, and no matter whether it's it's a serrated, a tanto blade, a sheep's foot, a drop point, or even a dagger blade like this, they are going to go ahead and take care of it. Now, the OTFs do have to go through authorized dealers to be able to ship it to them. And the way that they do it is you go ahead and you go to a Benchmade authorized dealer. You let them know that you're turning this in for warranty. You fill out a form. You turn it in with the knife. There's a fee that's paid, I believe. And I haven't sent anything in for OTF warranties, but I do know about the process for more or less. And then they ship it to Benchmade. Benchmade goes ahead and they work on the actual knife. They replace things if they need to replace it. They warranty things that they need to warranty, and then they go ahead and send it back, if I'm not mistaken, to the dealer and then to you, or is it to you directly from them? I think they can do that. I do know about the initial part where you do have to go to a Benchmade authorized dealer that handles these particular autos, and they can go ahead and send this on your behalf. So that's kind of a finicky situation, because with any of their other knives, you can pretty much just go ahead and put it in a box, fill out the warranty form for their Life Sharp program at Benchmade, and send it out. And if there's a fee that's to be paid, they'll go ahead and take that from you. They'll go ahead and they'll repair it, and they'll send it back to you quick, fast, and in a hurry. I know that because I have actually sent some stuff to them in the past. I sent my father's Benchmade mini grip Telian, and they were freaking awesome. Their service was stellar. I have nothing bad to say about Benchmade. In this case, I think that being that this is a tactical OTF, they would take some serious consideration with the handling of this knife, and I totally get it. I also see why they would use a black on black version, being that it's very tactical. Now, this is bead blasted, and I understand why that they use the bead blast for this, because this is something that, if you look, everything out here is pretty much black or a darker color. And then even with the blade itself, the only thing that really shines is the edge itself. And I'm trying to get it to freaking, all right, whatever, it doesn't want to shine. But in any case, this part right here is bead blasted. And so that means it's not going to gleam in the knife, you know, in the light anywhere too. That's, it's something to consider. There's a lot that went into the design of this particular knife. Now, is it something that I would personally carry? For a couple of reasons, I would pass. And I'm glad that I have the chance to be able to, take a moment and sit down and go over something like this, and which is a huge reason why I'm a big fan of the Apex Pass Around. Thank them so much each time they send a knife to me to go ahead and try out, because these are knives that I'm interested in. And I ask them, hey, let me review it. And they're like, all right, cool, I'm gonna send it out to you. Boom, a few days later, you get your priority mailbox, you know, in the mail. Open that bastard up like this, and you get one of these. You know, you try it out, and then you send it to the next guy once you've gone ahead and you've given it the once around. So those are my impressions and unboxing of this particular knife. This is the Benchmade Autocrat. This is a double action OTF automatic knife. It's black G10 with the bead blasted handle. This is the dagger shape, 3.71 inch blade. And if I'm not mistaken, overall, it's just under 9 inches. That's 8.75. Part of their tactical lineup. Huge shout out to both the Apex Pass Around as well as Zach from Zach Stuff for providing this. I'm gonna go ahead and box this back up and send it over to the next guy that is a part of the Apex Pass Around. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to go ahead and click like if you liked it. And if you liked it, check out one of my other videos. If you like my videos, feel free to subscribe. And remember, no matter whether it is a slippy or a double action automatic, if you EDC, think of DCS, guys. I'll see you next time. Take care.